Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. How do we discern Satan's voice? Now, thoughts come into our minds from three different sources. Thoughts come from our own process, our own thoughts, emotions, things we think about. God also at times communicates by putting thoughts in us, impressions in our mind, and that's a sense of God directing us. And apparently, Satan has the ability to throw, or the permission from God to shoot flaming arrows, to shoot thoughts at us and affect our thought process. Also, when other people speak, we can hear, sometimes God uses other people to speak to us. Sometimes it's just the other person's opinions or voice. And sometimes Satan can even be using what the person says against us. David knew how to recognize God's voice. That's key. Know how to recognize God's voice. Now, after he had sinned horribly, committed adultery, abused his power, murdered, lied, he was confronted. He realized he sinned against God, confessed, and he was forgiven like that. At that point, I know that David discerned and rejected Satan's voice. I know that from today's verse, what he did immediately afterwards. Listen to 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 24 and 25. Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba, and he went to her and made love to her. She gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon. The Lord loved him, that's the baby, and he sent word through Nathan the prophet to name him Jedediah, which means loved by the Lord. How did I get discerning Satan's voice out of that? Because I know that when we sin, as David did, Satan speaks to us in words of condemnation. God always speaks to us in words of guilt and conviction, which leads to repentance. Condemnation is, you are no good. You are a failure. Satan attacks our personality. God never attacks our personality. God deals with our behavior. So when thoughts of condemnation come, I'm no good, I'm a loser, they're from Satan. Discern that they're from Satan, not from God. Satan tells us to give up. There's no future. Drop out. Don't follow God anymore. You failed. You're not going to make it. Give up. God speaks in words of restoration and a new beginning, a second chance. And these verses are God giving David a second chance. With Satan, it's one and done. You're out. Don't listen to that voice, no matter what you've done. And David did very horrible sin. And yet God gave him a second chance. I know he must have had those voices coming out at him, give up. But he never listened to them. Satan is one and done. God is the God of the second chance. And finally, Satan seeks to have you live in your past mistakes and get stuck. It would have David thinking about what he did. How could I do that? And going over and over and over and getting stuck in his life. A great danger. That's from Satan. God forgives like that. There will be consequences, but God forgives and invites you to move on as David moved on. A new child, a new family, a new chapter in David's life. God bless you, and don't listen. Learn to discern Satan's voice. You may want to write those 3 pointers down. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless.